Hello, in this video I'm going to show you some language arts resources that you can use immediately to help your student in the classroom. As an exceptional ed teacher supporting many students in many different levels, you often do not have a lot of time to search out resources. This video will show you 4 resources you can use, and in about 10 minutes have something for your students that will help them in the classroom as they are reading a book. It will help them with comprehension, with story development, and vocabulary. The 4 sites are listed below: sparknotes.com, thebestnotes.com, freeology.com, and vocabulary.com. The reason I pick these is because they're free and you don't have to log into an account. If you want, you can create your own account and save your searches. But if you save them to your computer, that would be better, and that way you don't have to remember logins and passwords. So the first thing I do is I always have a sheet open, a blank Word document, where I can put my resources that I find. Today the class is reading the book Catcher in the Rye. So I'm just going to put it on the top of the Word document and make it nice and large so you can see. This will be the sheet where I add resources I find on the internet. Now I'm going to go to the internet. The first website I'm going to show you is sparknotes.com. You can see it comes up and there's a search box to the right. So I'm going to put in the name of the book we are reading, Catcher in the Rye, and hit the little search button. Again, you notice there's lots of advertisement, but just ignore things to the right, anything that has advertisement graphics, and scroll down. And what you're going to want to make sure you click is this book, this little bubble right here, Spark Notes, because you don't want everything off the internet. It's going to bring up a lot of extra stuff. You just want the Spark Notes. So if you scroll down, you see where it's pink is an advertisement. So scroll past the pink and then go to where it says Spark Notes. So you can see there's several Spark Notes for Catcher in the Rye. I'm going to just go with the very first one so you can see what they all have in them. They all have basically the same components. They follow a pattern. So there's the general information, context, plot overview, character list, analysis of major characters, theme, motif, and symbols, and then they break down the chapters, and then there's also study tools in the bottom. So if you need those for your students, that would be really good. There's study questions and essay topics. What I want my student to know is the character list, so they can look for them and make notes as they see the characters come up in the book. So I'm going to highlight all the characters that are on this list, and with the Control-C on my computer, I have now copied them. I'm going to go over to my blank page, which is here, and you can see I've already pasted them in. There's the list of all the characters. Now sometimes you see these little symbols that come up, and that was where there was usually a graphic. You can just hit your delete key and delete them if you don't like to see them there. You can also delete any other little notations that may distract your student, but that's just housekeeping. You can take care of that later. Now I'm going to go back to the internet and go to another site, which is freeology.com, which is a graphic organizer, free graphic organizer since 2001. And again, you can have an account, but you don't need one. I would do it without an account. So my student really needs help in learning about the conflict in the story. So I'm going to put in conflict and see what comes up for graphic organizers. And you can see a list comes up of mapping the story, dynamic story starter. And these are all free. You can download them very easily. I'm going to pick this one here. It says map the significant details in the story, setting, characters, and the conflict and climax. So you click on the highlighted words and you see that they all come up, everything. There's a fishbone, there's a story organizer. Now depending what your student needs, you might want to pick the fishbone, or if they're ready for something a little more concrete, you can pick the map the story organizer. I'll pick that one. When you first pick your graphic organizer, the top of the page always shows this download doc to PDF. Just scroll past that. Then you'll see the graphic organizer you picked and this lovely little yellow arrow. That's what you need to look for. You click on it and it brings it up immediately. And this is a nice one because it has a little color coding for each area you want your student to write in. You want to save it. I want to save it to my computer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new folder for just Catcher in the Rye resources. Now you could make a folder for graphic organizers because this is a great story map that you can use with any story, but I'm just going to put it in there. So now on my other page I have my main characters. Here is my graphic organizer. Now the next site I'm going to show you is vocabulary.com. And you can see I've been using it for to catch a mockingbird. Now when you go to vocabulary.com, you can certainly just put in a word to look up, say emergent. Your student doesn't know what emergent is. And there's the vocabulary word and you can hear it.
Emergent.
It also gives the definition. It has different examples, usage examples of single words. What we're going to look at is vocabulary list, which is on the right side. And in this search box is where I'll put Catcher in the Rye. Oops, spelled it wrong. Oops, Catcher in the Rye. And do a search. Now here you can see that somebody has divided the vocabulary by chapters because it is pretty intense to have all the vocabulary in just one list. So let me pick this one, chapters 1 through 5. Okay, right here is the main vocabulary that your student may come across. Now I could copy all the words or just go ahead and pick and choose, but for this example I'm just going to pick the first 10 for my student to work on. Kind of break it down for the student. I'm going to add it to my Word document. After the characters, these are all the characters, so then I'm going to put vocabulary. I can spell. Okay, vocabulary. And then enter and then Control V. So there's 10 words my student can start working on. And again, afterwards, if you don't like the check marks, you can just go back and delete it. That's just housekeeping. Okay, now we're going to go back to the vocabulary list so I can just show you some of the other features that are in this website. We looked at just the definition page. You can also look at notes and examples. Okay, that's what we copied, is the notes and examples. Definitions, if you just want the students to see the definitions, you could copy those. Or if you just want words only, you can definitely just copy those words. These are all the words, not just the first 10. Now the large tabs up here, you actually have to have a paid account to use. But I don't use them. I usually just use the free stuff. Now the next website I'm going to show you is very similar to SparkNotes. It's called thebestnotes.com. So you just have to pick one of these, one of either Best Notes or Spark Notes, or you could check them both to see which one works best for you. So when you go to bestnotes.com, there's also a search box, and you don't want to click on the bubble with web. You want just the Best Notes, just to kind of narrow your search. And I'm going to put in right, and then do a search. So again, it brought up all of the notes that are in bestnotes.com. And you can go through and pick out what you need exactly for your students. So here's one about conflict. My student needs help with the conflict. So it goes right into who is the protagonist, who is the antagonist, different climaxes. So again, if this is something you want to preview with your student, you can just go through and copy it, Control-C, take it to your Word document where you have your vocabulary, your list of characters, and then you might want to put conflict, development, and then copy what you've just seen from the website. So your student again has a guide. Housekeeping, again, you can just go through if you don't like these little marks that are there and get rid of them. You can delete them all, but you know, it's not necessary. You don't have a lot of time. And one of the most important things to do is to save it. So make sure you always save it. And since I've already created a document, I'm going to just put it in the folder with Catcher in the Rye. So it's there. So now on this one sheet, I have the main characters, I have the vocabulary, and I have the conflict development. And on my other sheet, I have, if I go into my Catcher in the Rye folder, I have my story map. So 2 documents right there that I can print out for my student and have him use. And that took me less than 10 minutes to do. Now again, the websites are sparknotes.com, thebestnotes.com, freeology.com, and vocabulary.com. Hope this was helpful. If not, let me know and I will look up more resources for you. Thank you.